Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live, your weekly roundup of live streams of organ recitals. This week we have organ recitals for you from San Diego to London to Paris to Tomsk, way out in Siberia. And I'll be telling you all about them in just a moment. Before we get started, let me remind you. Remember to like this video if you're watching on Facebook, and we'll send you an invite so you can follow us on Facebook just by clicking on it. Or click the subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. It'll be down right underneath the screen. Or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads, where you can also find us. And you'll get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in 2025. That's guaranteed. Now, let's get on to this raft of 4 different live streams this week. You know, they're just getting geared up at this moment for the post-Christmas restarting when they do their live stream. So some are going to be missing. The Glasgow University Chapel is not going to be included this week. And we couldn't find anything clear about the usual today, Tuesdays, live stream from St. James Cathedral in Toronto. So we're going forward with the 4 that we could find, including this new one out in Minsk, which I think is terrific. So let's start out with the first of these. And I want to be sure that I proceed in an orderly fashion and give you the separate photos of each of these organists as we go along, and then a picture of the organ as well. So here's our first victim, our first candidate. Temple Church's music director, organist, harpsichordist, and early music specialist Thomas Allery is offering you a live stream recital on Wednesday, January 15th on their venerable Harrison and Harrison organ. That will be Wednesday, January 15th. That's at 1 o'clock London time, which is 2 o'clock in all the rest of Europe, 8 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, 5 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, and midnight later in the day, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. We don't have the program of what he's going to be playing. They never give us that for the Temple Church, but we can tell you about Thomas and about the organ, and we will give you a link to the citation for the organ specifications, and we will also, I'm also throwing in a link to a what do we call that? To a news article in Diapason magazine, which gives the history of this organ, which is quite interesting, and also some more details about it. Thomas Allery became the director of music at Temple Church just a little over a year ago, but he'd been there as an assistant director since 2019. He is also a harpsichordist, soloist, and continuo player. He founded a group called Ensemble Hesperie, and they're very well known. I think we'll give you a link to them also. It's Thomas and 3 young women, and they do they specialize in 18th century Scottish Baroque repertoire. So he got his he got his bachelor's in music at Oxford, then his master's at the Royal College of Music, and then continued after that studying the harpsichord specifically at the Guildhall School. He's also scholarly. He's currently working on a continuo treatise from the 17th and 18th centuries. So how about that? The organ, I can show you a photo of the organ keyboard and the pipe work. Where is it? Here it is. There's the manual on the left and the pipe work on the right. This is a Harrison and Harrison limited organ dating from 1954, a four manual organ with 3 32-feet stops. It was brought down from Scotland in 1953, where it had been built for a ballroom back in 1927, and its inaugural recital was given by the august Marcel Dupré, the great French organist, but it fell out of use And in the 50s, they brought it down to Temple Church, London. Since then, it has been regularly kept up by the Harrison and Harrison people, including in 2012 and 13, a complete overhaul where a lot of the instrument was dismantled and taken to Harrison and Harrison's workshop in Durham. Don't know what he's going to be playing, but it could well have aspects of early music to it, knowing that it's Thomas Allery on the organ. Next up is the weekly St. Paul's Cathedral live stream. St. Paul's Cathedral in San Diego offers you its weekly live stream with Canon Martin Green at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time this Friday, which is January 17th. Canon Martin Green, who leads these, usually does it. Sometimes they have guests we don't know. He's one of the most articulate and engaging organists that I know of. He always gives you great explanations of why he selected the evening's program, what he likes about particular pieces, why he's playing them without leaving you behind in a cloud of musicological dust. So this live stream is sure to be interesting. Martin Green has received awards from the American Guild of Organists. He's repeatedly been on NPR's Pipe Dreams Live, and he's been a concert organist in around the U.S., the U.K., Mexico, and Canada. So the cathedral's organ was rebuilt in 1969 by Aeolian Skinner, the last of their installations west of the Mississippi, and was rebuilt in 2012 by Quimby Pipe Organs, Opus 68. It has 4 manuals, 98 stops, 86 ranks, 115 draw knobs, and 4,933 pipes. It's always a good time enjoying that live stream with Canon Martin Green. And of course, I forgot to show you the picture of the manual and the pipes, but I'll take a minute to show it to you now in case you're interested in it. There's that 4 manual St. Paul's Cathedral organ, and there is the pipework on the right. It's nice looking, you got to say. Okay, let us move on then. We then move on to Sunday, and now we've been in London, we've been in Paris, and we've been in San Diego, and now we move on to Paris. St. Eustache Church has programmed 2 up-and-coming organists for the weekly live stream this Sunday, Alexandre Deby and Maximilien Wang, to take turns playing Duruflé, Gaston Littés, and a 4-hander by Mozart. This will be at the usual time, 5 o'clock Sunday evening in Europe, here in Paris. I am likely to be there. I was there the other day, and I did a couple brief live streams on my phone for people, and organ enthusiasts seem to really like that. We got a lot of likes of those short videos that I did showing you around the church and all. That will be 11 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast in the U.S. and 8 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, an early Sunday morning. They'll be playing several pieces. They start out with several pieces, taking turns playing different pieces by Duruflé, a prelude and fugue on the name of Alain, a suite for organ, the Sicilienne, Opus 5. Duruflé's suite for organ, Toccata, Opus 5. So they're taking turns playing separate sections from that same suite for the organ. Then comes Gaston Littés, the scherzo from his 12 pieces for the great organ. And then they're going to finish up playing Mozart's Sonato for piano with 4 hands in D major. It's Ré majeur. There, I'm reading it off a French text. Kershaw 381. The first movement they'll play, the Allegro movement, with 4 hands. So who are they? Well, Alexander de B comes from the Netherlands. At 16, he started studying the piano at the conservatory in Amsterdam. In 2020, he headed for Vienna, where he studied at the MDW. That's the Universität für Musik und Darstellende Kunst, Wien. Or the MDW in Vienna. He's played lots of concerts around. I'm not going to list them all for you. And he's been a multiple prize winner on both the piano and the organ. Now, as for Maximilien Wang, he's from Bordeaux. He's now a student at the Paris Conservatory. I couldn't find out a lot about him. We'll give you the link to both to the page for Alexander de B, his website, and the LinkedIn page for Maximilien Wang. And I can show you. Let me show you an image of the organ there, because the organ at St. Eustache Church is quite something. This is a 5-manual, 101 stop organ with 7,952 pipes, which means it is the same. It has the same complement of equipment as the organ at Notre Dame Cathedral that everyone made the big fuss about. But I am repeatedly getting comments from people on our YouTube channel and elsewhere saying the Van den Heuvel organ is better than the one at Notre Dame. Here's the problem with it, though. It's badly in need of renovation. There was a live stream a few weeks ago, I know it was in December, I think mid-December, done by Thomas Hospital, who's one of the resident organists, the two of them. And ordinarily, they put up the recording of these live streams after the recital. They didn't put this one up. There was a point, a key got stuck or a note got stuck, and in the middle of playing a piece, he had this, I think it was an A, it was that he couldn't turn off. He got it turned off, but I think he may have had other problems, which I, not being an expert musicologist, or organ specialist, may not even have noticed, but he was so unhappy with the result that day that they didn't post the video afterwards. He now gives, at the beginning of the live stream this past Sunday, they ran a 5-minute video in French where he's explaining exactly what needs to be renovated in the organ. I had a chat with him, and we're going to see if we can get together and put together a conversation, like an interview that I do with him in English. He does speak English, but in explaining the organ parts and things, it might be helpful if I'm there backing him up with some of the English, translating it from the French, so we can circulate that to our followers, most of whom, if you're following this, you're probably an English speaker. So you can find out about it. One thing you can do if you want to participate, they need to raise 3 million euros by the end of the year, is you can buy a pipe and have it named after you. For anywhere from 40 euros on upwards. So if you'd love to have your name enshrined at St. Eustache Church in the very heart of Paris in the Les Halles district, that's the way you can do so. And now we move to one more. It's next Monday, really, but the problem is that we never do any kind of live streams before Monday. So if I don't tell you about it now, you're not going to know about this one. And this one is way out in Minsk. And that's the best photo I have for you. That's the poster for it. They do these live streams coming out of Minsk, which are uniquely online. They're not for people to attend. They are in the organ hall there in Minsk. And I can show you that photo to stop goofing around here. And hold on a second, I got to find it in my files. And typically the way this works, I think that's still uploading. I hope it will finally upload for you so you can see it. I don't know if it will or not. We're waiting and waiting and waiting. I might have another one that I can upload for you instead. I'm sorry about this delay, but these things do happen. There's a little longer view. And you can see there in the center of the photograph, next to the piano, to the left of the piano, there's the console for the organ, which is not magnificent. This is not a 4 or 5 manual organ. And typically the organist sits there and chats with you during before and after different pieces that he plays. It's very engaging. But of course, he's speaking in Russian, so I don't know how much you'll be able to follow it. So let me get to actually presenting to you the actual live stream. Monday, January 20th, Dmitry Ushakov, the organist with the Tomsk Symphony Orchestra, treats us to a series of pieces which he tells us Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart did not compose for the organ. Nonetheless, he will play them on their organ there. That's the announcement that I do, so we can do a little reel clip on Facebook, which has to be less than 20 seconds. I hope it was. Anyway, this is played in the Tomsk Philharmonic Organ Recital Hall. I could not find out a lot about Dmitry Ushakov other than that he is the organist there. He'll be playing, the pieces he'll be playing are Mozart's Fantasy in F minor, an Andante in F major, a fugue in G minor. We don't have the opus or Kerschel numbers for them. And the Symphony number 40 in G minor, part 1, obviously a transcription. Now, Ushakov tells the story that Mozart at one point visited Leipzig and visited the Church of St. Thomas, where Johann Sebastian Bach served as the organist. And he was talking with the cantor of the church, who said, well, would you like to try it out? So, and this is what Mozart wrote to his father afterwards. He said, the cantor decided that if I came from Vienna, then this style and manner of play were completely unfamiliar to me. Well, so I sat down at the organ and began to play. And after some time, the delighted Doles, that's the name of the cantor, said, of course, old Bach himself has risen from the dead! Exclamation point. So now, Mozart was an organ player. He was the court organist for the Salzburg Archbishop Hieronymus Colloredo. But he wrote almost nothing for the organ. He had some kind of special self-playing mechanical clock organ that he wrote something for, and he wrote some pieces in the sort of polyphonic style, which you might consider, well, it's sort of like Bachian, but that's about it. So this will be interesting to hear a lot of Mozart played on the organ by an organist who's taken the time and trouble to figure out, well, which of these pieces is closest to Bach. Now, there's two ways you can try to listen to this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be live streamed on their YouTube page. So I've given you the link to their streaming page, but you can also watch it on their website itself in case it's possible that they will only put the recording up on the YouTube page. I'm not certain. What you do is you will give you the link that you go to, which is the link for the Tomsk Philharmonic, and you go to the news page, which will give you the link to the news page, and you click on on Monday, the first box on the news page will be for watching this live stream. So you click on that. Well, that's what we have for you for this week, folks. I hope you've enjoyed. I was able to take a little more time with each of these 4 live streams, 4 minutes or so, 4 or 5 minutes or so. And I hope you'll appreciate that. And that will enable us to put up separate clips, which will each be about 4 minutes long. Well, you'll learn a bit more. I don't have more information about the specs of that organ in the concert hall in Tomsk, so I cannot help you with that. But I do hope that you will find one or more of these organ recital live streams interesting, uplifting, or just a heck of a good time, especially if you're an organ lover. Again, that's Thomas Allery at Temple Church, London on Wednesday. It's Canon Martin Green at St. Paul's Cathedral in San Diego on Friday. It's Alexander DeB and Maximilien Wang at St. Eustache Church on Sunday. And on Monday, it's Dmitry Ushakov playing music which Mozart did not compose for the organ on the organ in the Tomsk Philharmonic Organ Recital Hall. Ciao for now. Have a great week. And feel free to add on comments wherever you may be watching this video. We circulate this video to about a dozen organ-loving groups on Facebook, and I'm always interested to hear your comments. And if you know more about the organ in question, or the music in question, or the organist in question, you're most welcome to add in some comments.